Hello, welcome to Spartan. Today is the first day of our big voyage, and we just left our home port about a mile or two ago. We're out here. It's a beautiful start to the day, beautiful start to the trip. We have very, very light winds at the moment. So light the flag's really not even really flying, but the boat is doing some work for us, and we've got the Niagara up, as hopefully that shows you. And we thought, what do we think, huh?
We thought that we would take you on a tour of the boat, and we would sort of intersperse technical things with domestic comfort things. And I will be handling the technical things, and Tom will be handling the domestic things.
Because that's the way life works.
Yeah. This Jennifer has this kind of plastic boot that goes over the jib furler, and we tie it off here on the, on a sort of an anchor point right up at the bow to sort of stop it from moving in and out without our permission.
So one of the most important things about living on a sailboat is ventilation, and it's probably a never-ending battle because you want to keep things closed, but you also want to keep things open. Spartan has, I think, 11 opening hatches and then some that don't. So we have this large one here. This is right over our bed, and when we open it up at night, the wind just howls through there if there's any at all, and when we're at anchor it'll be even better because the boat will stay pointed to the wind, and the wind will, well, it'll probably almost always be too much and Kath will be complaining, but we'll fight over that. So we have a few hatches here. This is a dorad, which is a thing that lets air in while keeping water out, and with a solar fan on it. This is was normally pushing air out, but now it's pushing air in because we have a composting toilet that I'll show you in a while, and we want a negative pressure in the toilet itself pulling air out. So this pushes air into the head so that this thing down here, which used to be a cap for waste suck out, is now just pushing air out. So that's a change we made before the trip. So there's a couple more opening hatches here and here on the side of the boat. This one's in the shower, that one's in the head, and then a couple of larger ones back here. These are sort of in the main cabin area, and there's two windows that don't open on either side. Then there's more opening windows in the quarter berth and in the kitchen here by facing into the cockpit.
Our chart plotter, which is down below and which is Ray Marine, is hooked into all of the instruments here in the cockpit. So it's hooked into the iPad. It's also hooked into this array here, which sort of allows you to set a course and track your distance, and it's got all kinds of good data around course made good. There's your water depth, there's your regular gauge with respect to the wind and point of sail. This tells you about your speed. This is our water alarm. So we've installed a bilge alarm in the last little while, so that if the bilge starts to fill and we are in the cockpit, we can't mistake the alarm going off. We like to learn from other people's experiences, and this is one that seemed like a no-brainer to us. Over here is the auto helm, and it's a really, really useful thing. And it's all sort of looped into the system as well. It allows us to make adjustments to the sail or do things that we need to do, or just sail comfortably for a while without having to necessarily be chained to the helm.
All right, welcome to our domestic living situation. We'll take you on a bit of a tour of just the space generally and then talk about some specifics. So over here we have our galley, which right now the sinks are kind of filled with stuff that we've just got stowed there in case of wind or seas, neither of which we have at the moment. We're doing right now about 1 knot an hour and just holding our course, just keeping the sails full. So it's a good time to be doing a video. So this is our refrigerator here. It's quite large. It's larger than it might look from that angle. It goes very deep, but of course you just eat the things that are on top and let the other ones just sort of rot and freeze. This is our stove. It's a gimbaled stove, of course, and there's 3 burners. They all work really well. There's an oven as well, but we haven't got that working yet. There seems to be a thermostat issue, so the oven's not currently working, but it's still a great place to stow pots. Over here is where we spend most of our time in the evenings. Basically, we have these 2 settees. We really just use this one a lot because the table's here, and yeah, it's pretty comfortable. They're very comfortable seats. These are cushions for the cockpit, which we just generally keep downstairs when we're at sail. Up here, this is our bedroom, and it might not look like it, but there's room for 2 of us right on this bed here. We just bought the mattress last year. It's a nice new mattress. That's the big hatch I was mentioning earlier. We have places for clothes in here and here, and oh, look at my hair, and closet space. Want to come around here, down here, so that's where most of our clothes are. And then I'm going to show you the bathroom, which we call the head.
There's a battery warning happening here.
Okay. Why don't we go this way? So this is our shower stall, which, as you can see, is not filled with garbage. It's really ready for someone to take a shower in there. I'm going to come through the other door. And this is our head. So we normally have a shower curtain here to separate these 2 spaces. This is our composting toilet, and another sink filled with stuff because we're underway at the moment. We keep most of our bathroom stuff in here. This is a on-demand water heater. So when we want hot water, we can just turn that on. It uses propane as well. We don't use it very much at all.
So this mushroomy looking thing, from this vantage point anyway, on our mast is our radar. And we can use it for weather purposes as well as, sorry, I can't keep looking at the mushroomy thing. We can use it for weather purposes as well as for sighting boats that are up ahead. It's tuned into our AIS system, which is a system which identifies boats, and that's a very cool system, which, you know, tells you the name of the boat, its size, and where it's heading and how fast. So it's a really important technical safety feature from both the weather and you know, ships ahead sort of point of view.
Hi, welcome back to Domestic Stuff with Tom. Let's see. So I want to just let you know how awesome Kath has done at getting stuff stowed and getting a lot of stuff on here without it making it look like a crazy world. So we've got these storages here, and I'll just walk you through a bit. This one is random bits of things like for
food
holding
storage.
stuff. Food storage, but there's not a lot of food in there.
No, it's just for other food storage.
Things that store food.
Yes.
These are pots and pans and more things that store food. And this one is actual food. And then over on this side, got another one. And what's in this one? Let's see. Food. Books and things like our logs and cutlery, glasses. No, just not cutlery, just glasses. Cups. This is mostly our coffee station. This is the most important thing in the boat. And we've started using this AeroPress for coffee, which has the benefit of, can you get a little maybe just pull back a bit, has the benefit of
So the neat thing about a Niagara 35 is that all the lines come back to the cockpit, which is really terrific. Because it means A, you're not out in the weather all the time, and B, if conditions are bad, you don't have to be nipping to the bow to do much of anything. So because of that, it does sort of look like we've got a heck of a lot of busyness on top of our console here. This is the boom vang, this is the lower reef, this is the upper reef, this one here is the out haul. This is a spare halyard. This is the jib halyard. We've got this winch, which is not self-tailing. It's, I think, the only one that isn't self-tailing. This is where we keep our iPad mounted when we're underway. It's got Navionics running, and our chart plotter, which is below and which is reflected in the instrument array here, is Ray Marine. And it's carrying on with the lines. This is the main sheet, this is the main halyard, and this is the spin halyard.
I think you forgot a main sheet.
Oh yeah, here's the other main sheet as well.
And do you want to talk about having two main sheets?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to turn around this way.
Sure.
While you talk about that.
So one of the things I also really like about the Niagara 35 design is that there's no traveler, which is basically this long pulley system that's often in the middle of the cockpit or over here. It's something that you kind of have to step over and around all the time, and it's a way of managing your main sheets. For the Niagara design, there is no traveler. You just end up having, you know, the two main sheets like this, and so it's a bit like wrangling a horse, but it's very convenient. It works really well. This is our dinghy, which is an 8-foot rigid inflatable dinghy. It's a Walker Bay, it's 8 feet, and we recently got a 2.5 4-stroke engine for her, and she also comes with really great oars, and so we've kept those wooden oars and we're taking them on the trip. She rows really, really well, and is very comfortable, and we'll see how she does when she's got bigger seas.
So we have 3 ways of cooking food on board. We have a propane stove, which I'll show you in a moment. We also have a solar oven, which we can put on deck and cook things on a sunny day. And we have a barbecue, which is probably how we're going to be doing a lot of our cooking. So we can hook a 1-pound propane cylinder up to this, or we can get a line and hook it up to one of the 10-pound tanks. We have 2 10-pound tanks on board. And this is supposed to be a good one. We haven't used it yet. We haven't even broke it in because we've been at the dock, and you're not really allowed to use a barbecue at the dock. So we look forward to using it. We didn't have any room on the push pit where this is normally mounted, so I added a piece of stainless steel here from the push pit to the first stanchion, and then I found it kind of wiggly, so then I added a second piece here to stop it. So it's pretty sturdy now.